Every night you vanish. Not metaphorically, not poetically. You actually disappear. One moment you're staring at the ceiling. The next, hours have passed. You didn't experience them. You didn't witness them. They simply didn't happen, at least not for you. And the strangest part? You have no memory of the transition. 1 second you exist, then nothing. Then morning. Most people assume they know what happens in between. The body rests. The brain goes quiet. You recharge like a phone left on a charger overnight. But that explanation falls apart the moment you look closely. Because the truth of where you go when you sleep is one of the most disorienting things science has ever uncovered. And it forces a question most people never think to ask. Were you conscious at all during those 8 hours? To understand why that question is unsettling, you have to understand what consciousness actually is. And nobody fully does. The working definition most neuroscientists use is something like this. Consciousness is the experience of experience. It's the sense that something is happening to you from the inside. The feeling of being present in a moment. And when you fall asleep, that feeling disappears, not gradually, not partially. It stops. There is no you watching the darkness pass. There is no sensation of time moving. The hour between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. does not feel like an hour. It feels like nothing. It doesn't feel like anything at all, which is deeply strange when you think about it. Because your brain doesn't turn off. During sleep, your brain is extraordinarily active. Neurons are firing. Signals are moving. Electrical patterns are sweeping across entire regions of the cortex. From the outside, a sleeping brain doesn't look dead. It looks like something complicated is happening. And yet, no experience, no awareness, no you. So where did you go? In the 1960s, a neuroscientist named Michel Jouvet stumbled onto something that nobody had expected. He was studying cats in deep sleep when he noticed that their brains showed almost the same electrical activity as waking brains. He called this paradoxical sleep because it was sleep that looked like wakefulness from the inside of the skull. This was later confirmed in humans, and it mapped onto what other researchers had already identified as REM sleep, rapid eye movement. The phase most associated with vivid dreaming, and here is where it gets strange. During REM sleep, your body is paralyzed. Not coincidentally, deliberately. A structure deep in your brainstem sends signals down your spinal cord that suppress nearly all voluntary muscle movement. Your brain is running at almost full capacity, generating entire worlds, entire conversations, entire emotional experiences, but your body is locked. So something is happening during sleep, something rich and constructed and elaborate. But it only counts as experience if there's someone there to experience it. And that's the part scientists still can't agree on. Most people assume dreams are where you go during sleep, but that assumption has a serious problem. You're only dreaming for a fraction of the night. A typical 8-hour sleep cycle moves through 4 or 5 complete cycles. Each cycle contains lighter phases, deep, slow-wave sleep, and a period of REM. The REM periods get longer toward morning, but the rest of the time, the slow-wave phases, the transitional stages, there are no vivid dreams. No narrative, no characters, and yet consciousness still disappears during those phases too. So what happens there? Researchers studying slow-wave sleep have found that it's characterized by large, synchronized electrical waves moving across the cortex. Long, rolling patterns, almost like the brain is breathing. And during those phases, the cortex essentially loses its ability to communicate with itself. One region can't properly receive information from another. The network breaks down. In 2005, neuroscientist Giulio Tononi ran an experiment where he stimulated a small area of the sleeping brain with a magnetic pulse. In a waking person, that pulse would trigger a cascade of responses across the whole brain, one region pinging another, a wave of connected activity. In the sleeping brain during deep, slow-wave sleep, the pulse died out almost immediately. The response was local, isolated, silent, as if the rest of the brain simply wasn't listening. Tononi's interpretation was stark. Consciousness isn't just brain activity, it's brain activity that's integrated, connected, communicating, unified across regions. And during deep sleep, that integration collapses, which means you don't go anywhere when you sleep. There is no you to go anywhere. Think about how you experience sleep, or rather, how you don't. You have no memory of most of it, not because you forgot, but because there was nothing to remember. No experience was recorded. Because no experience occurred, the hours simply weren't there for you. This is different from being unconscious in the medical sense, like anesthesia or a coma, though the parallel is instructive. Patients emerging from general anesthesia often describe the same thing, and not darkness, not waiting, just nothing, a gap in existence they have no access to. Sleep, for large portions of the night, may work the same way, and yet something carries over. Every morning you wake up still knowing your name, still recognizing your life, still being you, or at least a version of you, which raises the next uncomfortable question. Is the person who wakes up actually the same person who fell asleep? It sounds like a philosophy lecture question, but it's one neuroscience is starting to take seriously. During sleep, your brain doesn't just maintain your memories, it actively edits them. Research from the University of California found that emotional memories undergo significant processing during REM sleep. The emotional charge of a memory, how painful it feels, how vivid, how raw, gets dampened across a night of sleep. You wake up remembering the same event but feeling it differently. This isn't a bug. It appears to be the point. Sleep seems to be how the brain separates information from emotional intensity, allowing you to recall something without being destabilized by it. But it also means the version of you that wakes up every morning has been quietly modified. Your reactions have been recalibrated. Your fears have been processed. Your sense of what matters has been subtly shifted. Not dramatically. Not all at once, but night after night, year after year, this editing compounds. The person you are right now is not the person you were 10 years ago. And sleep is a major part of the reason why. There's one more piece of this that most people never consider. You've been doing this your entire life. Every single night since before you can remember. Losing consciousness. Disappearing. Waking up again. And every morning you simply accept the continuity. You assume the thread holds, that the you from last night is the you from this morning, but the thread you're trusting is memory, and memory is one of the things sleep modifies. In the 1970s, philosopher Derek Parfit posed a thought experiment. If you were taken apart atom by atom and perfectly reassembled somewhere else, would the result be you? Most people say no. Something was lost in the interruption. And yet every night you undergo an interruption of consciousness that, by some definitions, is just as complete. The difference is you wake up with enough continuity, enough memories, enough habits, enough sense of self that the question never surfaces. You just call it sleep and make coffee. So where do you go when you sleep? The honest answer is nowhere. For most of the night, there is no place to go because there is no one going anywhere. The mind, your particular, specific, first-person experience of being you, temporarily stops existing, and then it starts again. The body that woke up this morning has been edited, cleaned, rewired, and emotionally recalibrated. Its neural connections have been pruned and reinforced. Its most painful memories have had their sharpest edges filed down. That process has happened to you every night of your life. And the question that should probably keep you up tonight, the version of you reading this right now, the voice in your head following these words, how much of that is really you? And how much of it is the accumulated product of 10,000 quiet disappearances, each one reshaping you just slightly in the dark, without your knowledge or consent? And maybe you never fully wake up the same person twice. You just don't remember being anyone else.